Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. So we're back again with Sylvia of Defiance. Welcome back, Sylvia. It's good to have you back.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. Good to be back with you.
Yeah. So it looks like you've got some new funds out. Do you want to tell the audience about some of your new funds and your outlook for the rest of the year?
Yeah, sure. So, I think since we've spoken, we've had quite a few funds come out.
Yep.
The most recent ones are actually the two times daily levered funds.
Hmm.
So we have a two x micro strategy, 2x super microcomputer, 2x Broadcom, and a 2x Eli Lilly. And interestingly enough, like the two beta, daily rebalance microstrategy ETF has just been probably like QQQY was our fastest growth like launch story ever, and this one just like really trumped that. It's trading over 3 million shares a day, and just like the appetite on this is so high. And I think so much of it is that it's a crypto play, right? I mean, he holds his whole balance sheet is basically crypto, but for some reason it trades like 2 to 3x any crypto ETF or crypto itself. So that's been super interesting for us to see. A lot of take up there by like the tactical traders.
Hmm.
And then Eli Lilly too around earnings, right? Great earnings report and good R&D coming out of that company. So I think people have been really liking that one. And then I think we spoke about these before, but the newest income product was probably QQQT, and SPYT was out. I know when we spoke, and that's the Target 20 fund on S&P 500, and so we launched like the brother sister tech. A lot of people are saying that they really like those funds. So QQQT is the Nasdaq Target 20 fund. So we have that one out now.
Hmm. So that one's got like a 20% distribution rate and kind
Yeah,
of more stable NAV, which
more
is what a
stable.
lot of, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's, you guys have been asking for it, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the conversations have been around that, people like the distribution, but they also like a stable NAV. So we have a crowd that really likes the high income products, and they do have, I guess, less stability arguably in the NAV, but they generate much higher, yields. And then
Hmm.
with this one, for the clients that kind of wanted the best of both worlds, we target around 20% annually, but we actually, we use credit spreads to try to capture more of the upside of the index, and keep that distribution a little bit lower. So they've both been, they've come out to a good reception. So good to see.
Yeah. So as far as your levered funds, what
Yeah.
inspired those as far as creating those?
Yeah, I mean, so myself and founder chairman of our company, Matt Belsky, our careers were really in levered ETFs, and so
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I used to work at a levered ETF company called Direction, and I was there from 2008 up until I joined Defiance, and so for over a decade, I
Oh yeah.
worked with these products. Matt was there half of that time too, and we found areas of the market that didn't have a levered product in them. So so much of the levered index stuff is already done by like Direction Pro Shares, and then you had a lot of good single name stocks and stuff out there with our competitors, but nobody had these names that people love to trade, right? So MicroStrategy is obviously a fan favorite. We saw the pickup in Bitcoin and in the crypto ETFs, and we thought, well, if people like crypto, they're definitely going to like MicroStrategy, right? So
Yeah.
we thought we'd give that a go. And then super micro is arguably, like, prior to TBD what happens with these accounting errors, right? And where this all lands, and if it's above brow. But prior to that, the talk is that they're almost as important, if not more important, than NVIDIA, because they have this cooling tech aspect of AI, right? And their biggest clients are the iCloud providers. And so that was kind of like, this is the next NVIDIA, right? So we launched that one. Broadcom, same thing, just on the teleconnectivity side. And then Eli Lilly is, the story there, right? Everyone's wild for Zepbound and Manjaro, and they have a really good product lineup outside of that. And just highly traded stock that people have really high conviction on. So that's
Hmm.
kind of the premise behind those.
Yeah. Can you clarify, in the US, is the
Yeah.
maximum that we can go with a fund like 2x?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It is. I know people get creative. Like if you have an ETN, you can go higher. So an
Yeah.
exchange traded note is, it's a debt instrument essentially, and you have like 100%
Hmm.
counterparty risk and whatever. So it's a different type of instrument. But if in an ETF wrapper, yeah, 2x is the max now, and that was like a result of the derivatives rule that came out a few years ago. And the good thing about that is that now other people can launch levered inverse ETFs. So it kind of
Yep.
opened that up to other providers, which is cool.
Yep. So given the new trend towards weekly
Yeah.
dividends with Roundhill, it seems like they're really revolutionizing the industry, so to speak.
Mhm.
Does Defiance have any plans for their own weekly funds?
Wait and see.
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
Wait and see. We're
Yeah.
always discussing like, and it's really interesting because I watch you guys and I hear what you guys all say about the products and like what you like and what you don't like about them, and
Hmm.
or what the audience says. And so, we take notes, right? And so, if it's the distribution frequency that's interesting to people, that's, those are easy things to kind of like think about. If it's targeting more NAV less distribution, those are things we can think about. So we take in the comments and we just try to, see if there's anything that like we should do to on our side to make the products more efficient. But I will say that time is kind of the teller of all things, right? So we've had a pretty good bull run, upward trending market. We had some volatility for sure, but for the most part, we've had more up days than down days. And so I think also, as you see because if you look at our ETF, it actually does better than most of the other income products, particularly if the market pulls back. And if it's, kind of flat, we're getting more juice on those days than some of our competitors are. But where, they've seen some successes when the market's kind of like ripping up, they get more of the upside. So I do think that it's important to also say, different market conditions will produce different results. But yeah, I mean, we definitely take the feedback and we're looking at things.
Hmm. Yeah, we just had Jay on yesterday, and we talked like
Yeah.
for half of the interview about this, and he kept saying, "I don't get the appeal of the weekly because they're basically doing weekly options, but the dividend is paid
Yeah.
monthly."
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but it seems like a lot of people in the audience just want the weekly payments.
Yep.
So
Yeah. I've heard that too. And then I've also heard that maybe if it's not the weekly thing, then they would like to have the payment on a different day than anyone else
yes,
pays one.
yeah,
So
hmm,
it's all, like we try to actually like just put some math behind it and analyze it
hmm,
and see,
yeah,
actually what would happen and whatnot. But well, we have no ego about this stuff, right? So if there's a better way to do it and the crowd is asking for more, we'll look at it.
hmm. It's certainly an interesting strategy. I've been following it too. I've actually talked to them, and
Yeah.
they're doing really well actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're doing well. Yep.
Um, Someone in the comments here says, "Even though I gave up on Defiance, I still like you, Sylvia."
Aw, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'll take
Um,
it. Maybe you'll like Defiance again soon too.
yeah, yeah. One question I get a lot, and I'm gonna share a chart here. Some of your first funds in the high yield space,
Yeah.
the JEPI and the QQQY.
Mhm.
Um, is there any potential? I know we had a reverse split.
Yeah.
Um, is there any like strategy change in these, or is it kind of just the same,
Same
sticking to the
thing.
same? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, same thing. And it's just we've actually been capturing, because of the volatility, we've actually been able to, capture pretty decent yield on these on a daily basis. And
Hmm.
we have a dividend paying, in a couple of days now. So our announcement, I believe, goes out tomorrow after the close. So
Yeah.
you'll kind of see where we're at there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, total return is like 15% in one, almost 16% in the other.
Yeah, no, total
Yeah.
return is really good. I think that, yeah, I think that, so then we still have this thing out there where a lot of people call me up and say, what's going on? This thing is not doing well at all. And
Mm,
they're looking at price return, right? They're not adding that dividend back in and then not adding reinvestment back in too, right? Because that's another ball game. So yeah, I mean,
yeah.
the performance is solid of these products, right? And they're doing what they're supposed to do. So
Hmm. As a fund manager, do you have a good site you recommend for actually tracking total return?
yeah, I mean, to be honest, I use Bloomberg, which is probably not accessible to
Oh,
the,
the terminal?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, which is
Hmm.
probably not highly accessible to your audience. But I would say, if you want us to do the work for you. And if you know, I don't even mind if you ping me every day, I'll send it to you.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you can ping me every day. I'll send it to you, but it's out there. I mean, you can find it on all the major, all the
Hmm.
major, like Yahoo's and CNBC and all the different,
Yeah.
trade like Schwab and all your different trading platforms can do it too. But if you're not sure about it, I can I can always pull it up for somebody if they want.
Certainly. I think the tricky part is when people reinvest at different dates and then
Yeah, I know that. Yeah,
tracking. Yeah, because I
yeah,
track it in a spreadsheet, but it's very manually intensive.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Hmm.
is. It is.
But I would agree Bloomberg is the best. I used it in school, and I wish I
Yeah.
had it now.
Yeah, and I can do it for you too. Like we have a client who does it, and he kind of like just lost track of where his performance is, but he had all the dates where he reinvested. So I just ran it for him. I mean, we could do that.
Hmm.
Happy to tell you where you're at with it.
Great. So, what's your outlook for like the rest of 2024 and going into next year?
Yeah, I mean, big deal, right? It's the election,
Yeah.
and we'll see. I mean, if I just take the noise out, like barring any major geopolitical events, which you can't really bar them because we've had them,
Hmm.
and continue to have them. But I think that the soft landing thing is intact, right? I think that the Fed's going to start cutting rates. It's going to be good for the market, and it's not because we're in dire straits and growth is drastically slowing. We're talking about 2 to 3% GDP growth. Probably get like low double digit growth in most of corporate earnings. You still have the AI revolution innovation. We'll see what Nvidia does today, but kind of regardless of what it does, I mean that's not going away, right? So there's still life in the Mag Seven. I stay invested. I buy on the dips. I'm not, I'm not afraid of like a near term recession or pullback. I think there's loads of opportunities in the market, and yeah, I mean, I remain bullish that we're gonna end up high this year, right? End up in the green on all major indices, and it's an election year too. We're going into strong seasonality and things like that. So I think it's fine. I think we have that soft landing. I don't think we're going to get this like hyperbolic growth that we've seen in some of the stocks, like like Supermicro is not going to grow 700% in the next few
Yeah.
years, and Nvidia is not going to go 1,000, whatever. I think things will kind of calm down, but remain on an upward trajectory.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's my view.
I think historically too, no matter who wins the year after
Yeah,
an election year, the market
it's
typically goes up.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And rates are coming down, and like I think a lot of people say like, well, when rates come down, that means like, oh, we're in trouble, right? But like, how are we in trouble? Like unemployment, okay, it spooked us a little bit, but it's still very much within historical average. Like we have a very low unemployment rate. Wage growth is fine. There's trillions of dollars on the sidelines. Corporate earnings are good. I mean, it's hard to really um, long term. I mean, we have issues, right? We have a lot of debt. We have some uncertainty in the markets. We'll see what happens with tariffs. But I think in the near term, this year, next year, we're probably okay to get some bull run out of these markets.
Mhm. It is counterintuitive with interest rates. I mean, I majored in economics, but I know
Yeah,
they use it as a way
me
to
too. Yeah,
reduce inflation, but
right.
in my opinion, like it causes some inflation with loans. Every
Yeah,
rate that you pay is higher, you're paying more money. So in a way, it causes some inflation.
it does. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So tell me about this. You've got this 2x uranium fund.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
URAX. So that
Uh-huh.
the idea there is that there's this global shift, and there's so much in the news now that you don't hear about it so much anymore. But there had been a lot of talk about moving to nuclear energy, and you know, basically uranium is the best form of that. And so we thought that as international governments try to go to that climate, you know, like net neutral, whatever, by 2050, they're going to need alternative sources of energy. So I think you have uranium, and then obviously what goes on with kind of the aerospace and defense side of it, right? Government investing in uranium, a lot of tailwinds there, plus geopolitical issues, things like that. I think power it, but yeah, it's just I think it's just there's a lot of enthusiasm for nuclear energy, and so that gives uranium a shot to really grow.
Hmm.
Something has to happen, right, for uranium to spike. Like we saw it a couple days ago, uranium spiked, and then the ETF started to take off. So that's probably what will happen, I think, with these commodity/energy types of plays.
Hmm. So do you have any other funds that you've filed for or any other things you can maybe tell us about?
Yeah, I can't talk too much about like what we file for, just for regulatory reasons. But
Hmm.
there will definitely be some products coming out from us. We're always looking at more targeted income funds. We have a couple additional ideas in the leverage space. We even had a thematic idea or two that we think is pretty cool. So you'll see some stuff coming out from us in the next couple of weeks, probably. Probably see a filing from us.
Great. Okay, let's see. Oh, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are you
Oh,
thinking about? What is like on your mind and for this year and
oh, I like to see like
macro?
I think competition is good
Yeah,
for all these ETF companies. Um, I think a lot of the different companies are doing really good things. I think whether it's Curve, Roundhill, Yield
yeah,
Max, you guys. Um, so I've seen this company Granite Shares, who I just had the fund manager on. They just released Yield Boost. I don't know
yeah,
if you
yeah.
guys would
We
be
know well.
planning.
We know. Yeah, we do a lot of stuff with them. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if Defiance would be planning some of the similar funds for like weekly. Well, we talked about weekly already, but like,
yeah,
covered calls on individual tickers.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah. No, we'll see. We'll see. We've got to. I don't want to spill my beans because
Yeah.
we're all in a race. It's like us, Granite Shares, Roundhill, Rex. We're all
Hmm.
trader, right? We're all kind
Yep.
of in the levered race now. So
Yeah.
that competition will be good, as you said.
Hmm. On a side note, you mentioned so you worked for Direction
Yeah.
before,
Mhm.
um, and you gave me the context for them. I did try to get them on, but it never came together.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
I'll mention it to him again. Still
Yeah, I
still
definitely
friendly.
would like to have them on.
Yeah, still
And
friendly.
then is their competitor ProShares?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, ProShares, they have a 3X fund, so they must not be American. I take it.
No, so Direction does too. So Direction and ProShares
Oh,
were the first two levered
yeah.
inverse ETF providers, and all of they came out with 3X. Well, ProShares first had two, and then Direction came with three, and then both companies did both. But they were grandfathered in because they already had the products out for so long. So when the derivatives rule passed a few years ago, all of those 3X funds were actually grandfathered in. So that's why they still have them. They can't launch new ones though.
Oh, okay. That's so
Yeah,
it's before the regulatory change. When did that
it is.
regulatory change happen?
Oh gosh, I want to say 20, is it 2018 or something? It was around COVID, like around maybe no, maybe it was right before COVID. I forget the exact year to be honest, but
Okay. Okay.
I want to say it was around then.
Yeah. Let's see. We actually have a question from the audience. When can
Okay.
we get IWMT?
Yeah, we're looking at it. We're working on it.
Yeah.
First, we want to get you excited about our other funds again. So we have some tricks up our sleeve.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's just go over again. So in the high yield space, we've got JEPI, IWMY, SPYT, and then
Yeah.
QQQT.
Yeah, USOY is another
Yep.
one. That's
Hmm.
oil enhanced
Yep.
income.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And then yeah, we'll see with IWMT and couple we definitely have like a bunch of ideas in that space and we had filed for a few of them too. So
Hmm.
it's something that we could always come out with. But
And
we're
so
just gauge the
your others were like so this like connective technologies, quantum, hydrogen. These were more like
thematic. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So actually quantum is awesome. It's just been crushing it this year. That's our AI and machine learning ETF, and that's got
yeah.
NVIDIA in it. That's got, Arabella in it that just, Ambarella in it that just, crushed earnings and just basically like the top AI names. So that one's awesome this year. It's really picked up. It's been around for a long time, but it kind of had its like chat GPT moment. That's when people started paying attention to it. And then 6G is, the next generation of connectivity, right? So the whole idea of like these, driverless cars and smart cities and thinking about AI and tech, you need low latency, high connectivity in order for supercomputing to happen and for all of these like long distance robotic surgeries to happen. And so 6G is really that. We think that's an exciting one too. And it's so interesting because that ETF had like well over $1 billion in assets during COVID when we were all like, obsessed with the word 5G and all that kind of
Hmm.
stuff. And for some reason, I think it just kind of, people aren't talking about it as much, but I think that that's going to be a resurrection ETF. in the next, in the next few years when people kind of see the needs for, the connectivity side of AI.
Yeah. And it's certainly over 5 years, it's got like 150% return.
Yeah, no, I mean
Yeah.
it's they're definitely solid. They're definitely the report card on these is good in terms of performance, and so I think people will find these.
Hmm.
And they're
Yeah.
big. I mean, these are pretty big. They all have a couple hundred million. Like one has half a billion, one has a couple $100 million. So they're definitely like on the radar now.
Yeah. And it does pay a dividend.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep. Okay, let's see. Someone said SPYT has been the best total TTL return fund from the
yeah.
time of launch. Core position for me.
Awesome.
Awesome. Yeah.
Happy to hear it.
Yep. Okay, let's go back to the Defiance site here. Okay, so we talked about those. So quantums is like your best one in terms of total return.
Yeah, quantum. I
Yeah.
mean, 6G. It kind of like depends on your um, time frame, but there's definitely times when like 6G is doing just as well. And um, they put us in the. If you look at Morningstar, they put us in the communications bucket, and if
Hmm.
you compare it to like the different communications ETFs, it's definitely crushing it. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, so we're really happy with that one. And then actually, the leverage funds are all like brand spanking new, and every single
Yep.
one of them is trading quite a lot. And there's a lot of volume there. So it's been. I think we picked a couple good names there.
Hmm. How was the decision made, like for 2x versus 1.5x?
It's you essentially have to meet a VAR test, right? So if the underlying index or if the underlying security moves by X amount, you have to be within. You basically have to be within like a 200% VAR, and you know, big movements um, over time kind of force you to have a lower leverage point. So like if you look at the filings, for example, a lot of the filings on these monthlies came out and they started as 2x, and anyone
Hmm.
who's like tracking this, you can kind of see that a lot of those issuers updated it to like 1.5. And my thought is that the reason they did that is because they probably ran back and did the VAR test, and then on certain days where those stocks were super volatile, they probably like were like failing the VAR test for too long, and so I assume there would be some regulatory concern about that. So we all want to. There's no question about that. We all want to. It's just a matter of like passing that test.
Hmm. You mentioned a filing. Was that like recent?
There's a bunch of filing. It wasn't our filing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're going to be filing in a week or two, but there have been a lot of some of the names that you mentioned recently filed ETFs. And, if you kind of like watch how their filings have transpired, they started at 2x and now they're at like 1.5. And, so I think that's just a matter of like what they can get on their VAR test.
Hmm. Let's see here. I think I know what the answer is going to be to this, but any short income funds coming, looking for more ways to hedge all these covered call funds?
Yeah. We don't have anything on the docket with that. We've definitely thought about it. We've even thought about, leverage income funds and things like that.
Hmm.
So it's like whiteboard stuff for us.
Yeah. And then someone wants to know your thoughts on NVIDIA earnings today.
Oh God, I'm like, I'm, I'm a big holder of NVIDIA for
Yeah,
sure.
me too. Yeah.
And NVIDIA and our funds are, a couple of our funds are big holders of NVIDIA too. So
Yep.
edge of my seat. I mean, they usually, I'll say probably what everybody's been saying all day. I mean, they usually knock it out of the park, right? And Jensen Huang is like Taylor Swift of the markets, and I mean
Hmm.
but we'll see what happened with the black oil chip and all that kind of stuff, and what the outlook is. I mean, the market's going to hang on it. In a way, I kind of don't care. I mean, if Nvidia disappoints and the stock falls, I'm going to buy more of it.
Buy the dip. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that long term, the story is very much intact. AI is not going anywhere. This is like iteration number one of AI, and
Mm.
and they're going to remain a leader there. But I'm on the edge of my seat, like everybody else.
Yeah. Very true. And it would be interesting. I know you can't say, but if you do like
Yeah,
individual tickers, like with the leverage, I've
yeah,
just seen like Granite Shares has several of those that are doing
I
really
do.
well too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Um, but anyway, well, it looks like that's about all the questions we have today.
Okay,
Um,
cool,
yeah.
cool.
Well, thanks again
Um,
for coming on. We'd
yeah,
like
for
to,
sure. And I'll keep you
yeah,
posted if we do anything with the income funds. I know you guys are anxious to see some other things. So
yeah, and we'd like to book you on the podcast too.
for sure.
Yeah, so
Okay.
definitely, yeah.
Awesome. And I'll try to help you. I mean, I'll try to help you again with my
Direction.
yeah, my old pals.
Yeah,
Um,
any of them that you know, certainly, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
We'll have any, we'll talk to any fund manager on here.
Okay. Good
Yep.
to know. Good to know.
Mhm.
And you
So,
don't even
well,
heckle. You don't even heckle much, so it's nice. It's
I let
pleasant.
the audience do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
thank you
Well,
so
yeah.
much.
Thanks again for coming back on. For
Okay,
the
thank you.
audience, for everyone in the audience, like, comment, and subscribe. Join Discord. Check out Defiance, and we'll see you all in the next one. All right. Take care. Bye. So